Hi, I'm Brenda. Welcome to my porch. And today we get to talk to Kelsey Brennan.
Hi, y'all.
Yep, there's beautiful Kelsey. So first of all, thank you for doing this. Everybody has agreed to do this, and this is really interesting. We talked a lot about what questions to ask y'all, and then I just went away and decided on my own.
I am shocked.
Some things I really want to hear you talk about.
Right.
And you are all getting asked the same questions.
Okay.
So, and it's really going to be fun to see how you all answer. But I really want you to feel as lacking in conscious of the camera as you can. Not be self-conscious about this. And you usually aren't, in my experience, super self-conscious.
Not particularly.
No, I don't think you're fraught with that too much. Okay, so can you tell me what your very first memory of APT is?
Yes. My first memory of APT was seeing The Merchant of Venice in the Pabst Theater in Milwaukee, because I was an intern at Milwaukee Rep, and it was the last tour. And so you guys came and did Merchant, and I was about 3,000 feet away from the stage. And I remember laughing my ass off at Jonathan Smoots and those stupid playing all of the suitors. Right?
Was that Merchant of Venice?
No, I'm sorry. Yes?
No, the suitors are in the play Merchant of Venice. You're right. I forgot we toured that.
Yeah, Merchant of Venice with Jim Ridge. Collie played herself. What's her name? We know Shakespeare really well around here.
No, I'm just sitting here thinking, my whole life I have told the story that the last thing we did was the Scottish play. So here's
Merchant of Venice.
Holy crap.
And that was in 2007.
She played Portia and Matt Schwader.
Yes, Matt Schwader.
And he played, and Jimmy played Antonio.
Yes.
And Jim Ridge was wonderful Shylock.
He really was, but I remember seeing that and just thinking, who are these people? Really, truly. And
How old were you?
22. And then I auditioned for you.
Uh-huh.
And every person I told that I was going to APT had the same reaction. They went, good.
Okay, wait, what do you think that reaction was? Now that you've been here.
Oh, gosh. I think as a young actor, you come and it's this crazy experience of having... You really, and I had not experienced this in other places and I hadn't worked in a lot of places, but Colleen is this insane actor that you get to learn from, and then she genuinely wants to go have a glass of wine with you. And that feels crazy when you're 22.
Right.
But there's just everybody has an ego, or in the arts, but there's no collective ego to APT. I really believe that. And, without comparing it to other places, I think I didn't feel like I was had been validated as an actor yet, and I felt validated here. Still the hardest summer of my life.
You were an apprentice.
Oh yeah, I was an apprentice.
I'll never forget that Measure for Measure you did, though.
You mean Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, that's why I said that. Because I wanted to hear you say.
I almost would have gone. Oh.
Exactly. No. So, do you remember working on that?
Oh yeah.
You guys were so good that summer.
I have a great story about that, actually. So when I was at Milwaukee Rep, I met Tracy Arnold because we were doing Christmas Carol, and then Tracy and Matt were both directing the entire Apprentice company in Romeo and Juliet. And because APT is this weird place where you're social and you're professional at the same time, I had gone on a double date with Tracy and Marcus and Steve Haggard during this time. So we all went to the movies, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm washing my hands, and Tracy turns off the water. She goes, Kels, I wouldn't be so hard on you if I didn't think you could do it. And then she left. And I was like,
that's perfect. Oh, that's perfect though. It is perfect. Perfect, Tracy, and perfect that she said that to you.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
That's interesting. So when do you think that you, so I know you've been here for a while. How many years have you been here?
Okay. This would have been my 10th non-consecutive season.
So you would have gotten a certificate at the...
I'll never get that certificate now.
No, you get it next year. We talk about the gifts that everyone gets when they are here for so many years.
Yeah.
And the certificate's a big one. That's a big...
Yeah.
And right away, Nate Berger asked if he was getting his tree, but I said, no, that's not till the 15th, I think. You have to be here 5 more years, so you get a tree.
Wow.
So my question to you is, when did you know, or when did you think about wanting to be back here? Like, when did you decide or have a thought, this could be my home, not your artistic home? Like, when did that, like, sit in your heart in a real way?
It's really funny. I don't know if many people know this about me, but it truly was immediate. I mean, I fell in love with Wisconsin while I was here, and I fell in love with the way of life in this town when I was here in a way that I really hadn't found other places. And like I said, I mean, APT, working with those actors and directors, was extremely painful because I always wanted to be better. I always wanted to get it right. But I also felt nurtured. So it was immediate. I mean, it was like October 6th, 2008, I left and I wanted to come back.
So John Lang's one of our favorite people, right? Worked with us for a long time and directed a lot of shows here. The first year he worked here, he was young, and he came to work and he said to me after the summer was over, he said, working here, the next summer when we hired him back is when he told me this. He said, working at APT is like walking through fire. And I have to really be ready for it, kind of to that effect. But walking through fire was absolutely what his metaphor was. And I know what he means by that. And I kind of understood at the time, but I really understand now. What do you think he meant by that?
Well, there's just no way to prepare yourself. I mean, the material will ask you to be your best. The people will ask you to be your best. The environment will ask you to be your best. The audience will ask you to be your best. So there's no like off day. And on top of that, the schedule is intense. I mean, we're doing several projects at once. We're doing them physically outside. We're doing them with deep, deep emotions and high highs and low lows. I mean, it is the Olympics of theater, 100%. And you just don't get to have an ego. You just don't get to have an ego. And if you do have an ego, or you try to hang on to an ego, someone will tear it from you.
That's always a fun process.
Oh my God. And then you'll just have to reckon with yourself on so many different levels. But it's just, you just have to allow yourself to be completely vulnerable to the process of putting these plays on with people who just want the world from you.
And for you. I mean, I feel like, and for you, because, so that would lead me to other questions. What have you been most proud of in your work at APT?
You know, I've been most proud of, I would like to think that I'm an actor with versatility. And I don't know, maybe it's just being cocky, but I don't think there's a role that I can't figure out a way to identify with or figure out a way to work into. And so I'm really proud of the fact that I can play Nora and Dromio in a span of 4 years.
Yeah.
That feels really cool, you know? And my fear, and I know it's been true of me in the past, but what I'm always working against is I never want an audience or a fellow artist to see me cast my casting in a play and go, oh, I know just how she's going to do it. That's death to me, because I'm a different person than I was last summer, so why should I be playing something the same way?
I think that's a really good thing to hold yourself to. And you do need other people to hold you to that. Because the promises you guys make to yourselves as artists, which you do in front of me all the time, like I want this, I want to be this, to have a group of people you trust to hold you accountable for those things is really different, right?
Yeah.
How do you think that says to how you progress?
Having people hold me accountable.
Like, what does that have to do? Like, the idea of company, I think, is something I'm interested in. Like, what is that how does that attribute to what's happened when you say you're good at this thing, like you're
Yeah.
proudest of this?
Yeah. There's a really healthy dose of tough love at APT, especially among our company. I mean, it's crazy how important a lot of the core company members are in my actual personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had conversations with them about all sorts of things, but also about my work.
Yeah.
And also outside of the theater, you know, just sitting around a fire at home, and I say, oh, this show, and they were like, yeah, that was funny that you made this choice, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like really frank conversations, because they know what I want for myself.
Right. They're
you know?
they're actually invested.
They are invested in that.
They're not interested in tearing you down.
And like we were just doing Cymbaly last week, and Colleen was like, no, seriously, tell me if I'm going too far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because she knew that I would.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, because we have this kind of sibling, I don't know, it's camaraderie, and it hurts, but it's worth it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when your friends are honest.
What do you wish you could do over?
Oh.
Either events or roles or situations.
Gosh, that's a really good one. What do I wish I could do over?
When you look back and it comes up for
Yeah. So I think I learned a huge lesson between like 2015 and 2018. I kept being asked to find grace and to find levity and to find it was like, is it innocence? Is it what vulnerability? And I just wasn't there as a person yet. So I wish I could do Pride and Prejudice again. I wish I could do Hero again. I wish I could do those women who didn't have the sharp edges that I gave them because I didn't know how to soften them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've learned some real big life lessons that have allowed me to have just a little bit more access in that.
Yeah.
Without feeling like I'm betraying my own sense of self.
Right.
So
Right
yeah.
on. That's a really fine line for actors. I mean, that's why lots of people are fond of saying, you know, Uta Hagen, I don't even remember all the teachers that say you have to live in order to act, you have to experience in order to be. And I was always like, well, okay, but then I'm from a farm in Iowa, and how much experience am I going to have? But you know what I mean? But like, how much risk you have to take in your life to experience those things in order to access those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really real. I mean, I've felt that. So yeah, I wish I could go back and, you know, tell 30-year-old Kelsey, like, hey, it's not life or death. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to show everybody how smart you are.
Sure.
You know?
You're pretty smart. What do you, how's APT, you've talked a little bit about this, but I'd love to hear people when they say, like, in one way, the most important way for you, how has APT changed you?
I think APT has made me feel like I have a home. And that's a really, really, really emotional thing for me. Home means a lot of different things, but you know, I heard somebody describe it as a place that you don't have to explain why you're there. Mm-hmm. You just are allowed to be there, and you're allowed to take up the amount of space that's carved out for you. And so APT, I feel at home in the town and in the community more and more all the time. The people make this feel like my home because they hold me accountable and they know so many things that they've watched me grow up in a lot of ways. And also it feels like an artistic home where people say, you're really good at this, please get better at this. I mean, as an actor, you just don't have that. You just don't create these lifelong relationships with institutions and with artists in the way that you do at APT. And without a doubt, that has made me a different actor and a different human. So it's given me a sense of self and a sense of belonging.
Has it made you able to be more graceful and vulnerable?
100%, because I'm not fighting anymore to prove to anyone that I belong.
Right.
I'm not done learning, but I certainly am not I just don't, I'm not mad about being adrift in a sea of actors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like I have purpose
And responsibility.
and responsibility, and that just makes me a more generous human. I'm really lucky.
It's really interesting because I think as someone, you know, when I talked to the directors about being here, I said that there's no way you can go into the room anymore. And I've said this for 10 years and know everything that these people are going to know because they know a lot, right? About what you said, the environment, the plays, what's coming in the season and what's coming in the schedule. And I said, the sooner you can get right with not knowing and being vulnerable with that group, the faster you're going to get your work done. And it's so counterintuitive.
It is.
I mean, actors all the time have to pretend like they know everything they need to do it because you have to be confident you're going to do it in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah, I'm the best for the job.
And then
I'm
you're going to know
the best.
nothing when you get into rehearsal and every night when you step on stage. So it's like this knife's edge, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that's where the real stuff is in life.
Yeah, allowing yourself to not know. Allowing yourself to get comfortable in a place where you don't have the answers.
And then you're in this room to collaborate to find them.
And allowing yourself to be really, really shitty in front of younger people.
Yes. Who think, what the heck is she doing
How did
here?
she get here?
Exactly. Oh, that's something that all the older actors say.
Can't wait to
me.
take her job.
When is she going to be done?
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you hope for APT's future?
I hope that APT can be a place where many, many different types of people feel that they have a beacon of light. There's so much in the world right now that feels like it's closing in on us, and there's so little hope right now. And I've never felt it more or seen it more than when I'm up that hill. Truly, it's my church. And I'm really lucky that I feel like the light shines on me there. But I really hope that in 30 years, I'll just be one white girl. And that the sea of people and the people on stage will look really different. Because there's a lot of love that we want to give. And change is slow and change is messy, but I think we're up to the task. And I just want to see us be a safe harbor for a lot of people who don't even know we're there yet. And I really think we can do that. I think you can do that.
I mean, I feel responsible to do that, as well as excited to do that, without having any idea how to do that.
Completely, 100%.
But I do feel the burden is shared by everyone that works there. Not even the burden, the calling to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's been a silent calling in
Yeah.
the past, and now it's becoming an outspoken calling. We're APT, and we do this art, and we do it for everyone, and you, and you're different than you. I mean, I really think that has begun to be the messaging that we're getting comfortable in, and that is
because being confident in order to be comfortable in. I mean, we've said from the beginning the mission of APT is to reach across, like David Frank used to say, from Aunt Tilly, here is Shakespeare. You know, he used to do that, and I just did a terrible David Frank. By the way.
It was good.
But he would do that. You know, so now we're just saying it's more than Aunt Tilly. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that metaphor. It's bigger than that. It's everyone.
Yeah, and it's not just us making it for people.
No,
it's us making it with people.
Agreed.
And not calling the shots and not saying it's here to here. It's like, you know, what do we want? What does everyone need?
Exactly. What's your favorite word? We're all about words. What's your favorite word? Homage to Mr. Lipton.
My favorite word? Oh my God.
Word.
Convalescence.
What's your least favorite word?
Fragile.
Oh, wow. I love knowing that. That's good. That's really good to know. Thank you for saying that and sharing. So you kind of already done this with a little bit, but I'm going to make you go back and say, well, I love you, Kelsey.
I love you.
Yep, I love you. You're remarkable to me.
Thank you.
Your strength and your fortitude and your kind of willingness to come back in, and your hard work ethic and your intelligence and your talent. It's a gift, and it's been a gift to me personally. So you give me hope in the future. When you say hope, you give me hope. Because you're a real leader, and I always say, when I meet actors like you, I think, you could do so many other things when you choose to do this, and I'm just grateful you choose to do this, but I love that you're doing other things too with APT and with the community, and thank you for that, because your capacity is pretty remarkable.
Thank you.
What advice would you give little Kelsey, like little baby girl Kelsey? What would be like that little person, what you wish you could tell that little person?
I wish I could tell baby Kelsey that it's really okay to not think the same way as your peers. Or it's really okay to be different. And it's really okay to be different in the body of a woman. Because I feel like there's so many expectations, or there were so many expectations that I wanted to rise to as a child, as a teenager, as a college student. And it's okay to find your own path. It's really okay. And you're going to be made fun of. And you're going to feel weird and unwanted. But then you get to fully embody something that's completely yours, and nobody can touch that. Yeah. And then a million other things.
I know, exactly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.
You're the best.
You're the best. Thank you.